Now we are ready to start combing our guides on berry bacon. So if you select your guide groom, and then we need to go to the option on the left side called Show Handles. With this we can see our brush now, and we can actually comb things. And if you press Shift and click, you can change the radius. I assigned shortcuts for each of the brushes as shown on the other tutorial, so we can quickly switch between modes on it. Now if you switch to your guide mode and select some guides, you can see that they're not showing a different color. But if you press the wireframe mode, the W key, now we can see the mask. If we start combing, you see that the mask is working properly. It's not only displaying a different color. So to fix this, we got a couple of options. First of all, we need to go to Edit Parameter Interface on the top level of our guide groom. This will show all available parameters in your actual node. If you toggle Show Invisible Parameters, you can see even more of them. The invisible ones are the ones we can't actually see on your interface. So the one that we are looking for, it's called Material. Then if you select it, untoggle Invisible, then it will pop up on your interface on the bottom. It's pointing to a shader inside our node. But if you dive inside, you see there's nothing in here. But there's a middle level that's actually hidden and locked on our guide groom. If you go inside it, there's a bunch of other options, and in the middle of that, there's a material network with the shader that is currently applied to our viewport. So if you go back again and delete this connection, it will delete the display shader. Now it's became black because our display color was set to red. And then if you go again to the Edit Parameter Interface and look for the shade Open Curves in the viewport, untoggle Invisible. And what this option actually does is when it's set to on, it's going to apply a material and treat your curves as actually curves in your viewport. So if you have a width value assigned to it, you can see in the viewport. If this option is off, you won't see any material applied to it and won't see any width. But if you dive inside, consider this actually displaying your mask, so we are forcing it to be on wireframe mode all the time. So that's one option for it. But this is not an ideal workflow because I want to be able to visualize the width on the viewport and as well assign materials. So I create a custom version of the guide groom. This node will be available in your material course and you are free to use it if you want it. It works similar with the guide groom, so you plug your guides and skin in the same way. And now whenever you select a mask and press enter, it will color it on a different color than the rest of the guides. And now we can turn on our shade open curves in the viewport. And you can see they get a nice shading and a little bit of volume, especially in using the high quality lights. We can also add a custom material for that. So you create a material network and inside that a hair shader. Now we can put a root to tip color on it. So let's make our roots darker and our tip color white. This root to tip color will be multiplied by our actual guide color. And now on the material tab, we are going to point to our recently created material. So inside the guides, select the groom subnetwork, our material net, and our custom hair shader. You see it's not taking effect in the viewport. That's why our guide groom is actually not connected to our output. If you select it, you can see it's taking effect. So we need to actually put it on the output to see it from the outside. And now we can play around a little bit more with the material and create something that can help us visualize things better. We can increase the intensity so you can see the guides more brighter. If you go all the way to 0, there will be no reflection anymore. And you can also intensify the difference between root and tip. This will make it much easier to see where the roots are actually being born and where they faded. And we can select any masks and we will automatically color them for you. We can also change the guide color and have different colors for different guide ground nodes inside the same guide node, making it easier to break into different regions. I'm going to show another feature of this custom guide room and is related to planting guides. First of all, let's delete all the guides except for one. So let's select one and then we can press Ctrl I to invert our selection. And if you select the cut brush and start combing around, it will delete all the guides except our selected one. Now this is our first combat guide. So if we plant a new guide, you'll notice that it will start already masked and the previous guide will lose its mask. So that's a different thing this new custom guide room does. Every time you plant a new guide, this brand new created guide will be masked, so you can quickly switch between plant guides and combing, making the workflow for this type of situation super fast. If we check on the normal guide room, whenever we create a new guide, the previous existing mask won't be clearly. So if we plant a new guide and try to brush it, we'll actually have to remove the previous selection first. If you plant a guide super close to it, you can start seeing how much it affects the general workflow. And now we can quickly stylize every single guide of it.